everyone and welcome back. Today we are going to chat about how to volunteer at fashion weeks. If you have always wanted to attend a fashion show, if you're aspiring to get a job in the industry and you love watching the runways and you dream of being behind the scenes, then in this video I'm going to share practical tips so that you can experience a bit of the fashion industry from the inside. Working backstage at fashion shows is an incredible opportunity to breathe and live a little bit of the industry from the inside. This experience is something that is valuable regardless of the career that you want to pursue later. So unlike internships that you should choose related to the role that you want to get in fashion, volunteering during fashion shows is more like a fun experience and very short. Whether you want to work as an editor, stylist, buying in PR, whatever is the career that you want to get into fashion, volunteering backstage is more something fun but still important that can bring you to more career opportunities in the future, because during this short opportunity you might build some key connections, and who knows, since many jobs and internships in fashion are signed through word of mouth, maybe this is going to help you land your next internship or role in fashion. So let's talk more about these opportunities. So like I said, this is a super short opportunity that lasts normally just the day of the show. So volunteers go there the morning of the show, like 2 or 3 hours before the show starts, to help the team to do some practical tasks, whether it's hiring clothes or setting up the location. So it's a very practical task, and this is a job that ends when the show is over. So it's not like a contract that the company is doing to you. So that's why also the application process is much quicker. So you don't need a fancy resume, cover letter, portfolio to apply for this type of opportunities. Most likely you can get these type of jobs by just sending an email to the PR team, or if you see that your favorite brands or production companies are posting these opportunities on Instagram, you can just quickly apply and get the role even without doing job interviews or nothing. The process is actually very smooth, very quick, because the company is not hiring you, they're just looking for extra help to run their show that day. So on average they do select different volunteers, so it's not just 1 or 2. Some big shows have up to 15 volunteers, for example, so depending on the size of the show and the company. So you can meet other volunteers backstage. So once you're going to get backstage, you're going to see something that looks like this board where the stylist and the designer have already chosen what the model is going to wear for the runway. You're going to see also the order of the looks, and you will be assigned to a model. You will have your anchor with your looks, with your photos, so you know exactly how to dress up the model. You don't need also to be like a graduate from a fashion school or things like that. Most fashion schools actually do have some connections with this type of opportunities, so their students can get these volunteer opportunities. But even if you are not a fashion student, even if you have graduated, or even if you're still studying, you can email brands to reach out and ask to be a volunteer for the upcoming show. So something that you have to keep in mind is that there are several fashion weeks all over the year. So the calendar slides like this. We have in January, we do have men's fashion weeks, we do have haute couture weeks, and then in February and September there are the 2 main fashion weeks which you are maybe probably more familiar with. So we have New York, London, Milan and Paris fashion week, so these big ones. But also do not forget to check out other fashion weeks, because now there are more, like there is Copenhagen, there is Miami, Los Angeles, so do not forget to check if in your local area or if near to you there are also other fashion weeks organized that you can provide your help with. So in February, like it kicks off with New York Fashion Week, then followed by London, Milan and Paris. So you have to decide which is the period that you would like to do this type of opportunity so that you can plan in advance. So I would recommend to start emailing a company like even 2 months in advance before the show day. So if you know, for example, that in February we are going to have New York Fashion Week, you can start from December and keep reaching out until January, and even keep a look on the same week of Fashion Week. This means that of course you need to be based there in order to be able to attend in such a short notice. But if you are living in New York, you're living in London, in Milan, or in Paris, you can even wait until the very end if you couldn't find something in advance to see if something comes up, like if they need extra help. And some brands are going to start posting on their social profiles that they're looking for more volunteers. Do not also underestimate the new brands, the new designers, so do not just look at the biggest names of the industry like Dior, Gucci, Prada, but also look at the new designers who are showing on the calendar. A way to find who are the brands who are showing during Fashion Weeks is to download the calendars of Fashion Weeks. You can go on the official Fashion Weeks websites of each city. Camera Moda for Milan Fashion Week. There is the official website of New York Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, and British Fashion Council for London Fashion Week. So go on the official websites and download the schedule. Sometimes schedules of the upcoming shows are already available in advance, so you can actually look at the current or the upcoming calendar. But if you cannot find the new ones, you can even just take a look at the previous seasons, because more or less the brands showing are the same, so you can already have an idea of what are the brands showing during Fashion Week, so you can get an idea of who you should start reaching out. In order to volunteer in Fashion Weeks, you can reach out either to the brands or some production companies, because fashion shows, especially the big ones of like Dior, Gucci, Prada, are not solely organized by the company itself, but they also use production companies they work with, like Bureau Betak, for example, is a big one. So do not just reach out to brands, but I also recommend to reach out to production companies, because the show producer works with the creative director of the brand, so they are also in charge of finding the people working backstage, and so all of the backstage crew. So you can also reach out to the production company, which could be a little bit less competitive than reaching out to the brands directly. When you want to reach out to the brands, you might want to reach out to the PR teams, so the PR department who is in charge of organizing events and fashion shows. So go on LinkedIn, filter by the brand, and search in the type bar PR, so then you can start reaching out, you can start finding who are the people working in the PR department at that specific company, and so you can start reaching out to them to ask if you can become a volunteer. After the experience is over, I would recommend to leverage it so that you make the most out of it, not just once you're there, but also once it's over. So once you are there, you have to be super organized, you have to be able to manage stress, because it's an active situation behind the scenes before a show starts. As you can imagine, everyone is going crazy, so you have to be the one who can actually manage a stressful situation. So do not panic, listen carefully to the instructions that they're giving to you. Take notes if you prefer, so that you know exactly that you're not forgetting any detail once you arrive. And once you're there, of course, be very focused on doing your job, but also do not forget to talk to other volunteers. And when the show is over and is a little bit more calm, the situation, you can even talk to other people working from at that brand. Usually backstage, you're going to find the PR team of the brand, you will find of course the creative director of the brand, you can find like product developers who are there to make any last minute changes to clothes if necessary. So whoever you can talk to, just try to make connections. And even after the show is over, go home, take the time to reflect on that experience, which was amazing. You probably want to sleep on it just to recharge a little bit from the excitement. You can even ask other volunteers to go and have dinner together, go and take a coffee together, so you can know each other and start building this way a little bit of connections. But once you're home, really try to think about the experience that you had. And when you are there, try to take notes of the names of people there, so that once you're going to be home, you can add them to your LinkedIn connection. And I always recommend to send a note when you request a connection on LinkedIn, so you can say that you were a volunteer during the show and that you would like to keep in touch for future opportunities. So you can go on LinkedIn, find whoever you meet backstage and add them to your LinkedIn profile. profile. You also want to send a thank you note to the PR team or to the fashion show production agency if you work with them, to thank them for the opportunity, and also if you like the experience, to say that you would like for them to keep you in mind for future opportunities, so that you're already building something for the future. Once the experience is over, you should not also forget to add it to your resume, because despite being very short, it's also an experience that you can add to your resume. So you can add the fashion show volunteer at Gucci fashion show in 2025, for example. So let me know in the comments if there is any particular season, or if you're thinking about volunteering during Fashion Week, whether it's New York, Milan, London, Paris, and what do you think about this experience, and if you have any other questions. More about the fashion industry and learn with me, check out my Break into the Fashion Industry online course, where I teach step by step how to get a job in fashion, even if you have no experience. In the past year, since when I launched the academy in 2018, I've helped over 4,000 students landing their dream role in fashion. So if you're someone wanting to get into fashion, I really look forward to see you inside one of my courses. Thank you and bye for now.